Hello everyone, most intros are in fact trash, so let's just get straight into the video. Before we fix Poe Dameron, let's quickly summarize who he is, and if you just want the fix part, the time code is on the screen. Poe is a pilot of the Resistance, but not just any pilot, he is the best, and based upon his very quote-unquote witty quips, he is the new trilogy's version of Han Solo. He starts to build a friendship with Finn that has escalated into Tumblr trying to force Disney into making it a gay relationship, despite the fact that Disney would never do that so they could continue making money in China. That is everything that is given to Poe in terms of character during his 8.5 minutes of screen time during The Force Awakens. I believe that Disney and J.J. Abrams had no intention of developing Poe Dameron into an actual character with a real arc. But after the outcry of horny women, Oscar Isaac was given a whole 4 more minutes in The Last Jedi. These 4 extra minutes resulted in a character arc where Poe learns to blindly accept authority and when to pull out, which is a lesson my father should have learned so I didn't have to suffer on this planet for all these years.
So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first.
So if I'm JJ Mystery Box Abrams in late 2013, how do I fix the fuck out of this mess? First off, if you're going to make one of your main characters a handsome pilot, you have to put in a lot of work to make Poe different enough from Han Solo to make sure he's interesting to watch. My version of him would not only have quite a bit of screen time used by cutting some from Finn and Rey, but would also have a little more backstory than best pilot to ever pilot. After originally joining the Resistance to put food on the table for his ones back home, Poe really became infatuated with the Resistance over time and saw this as the only way to bring peace back to the galaxy. Despite being the best pilot, he isn't good enough to stop the onslaught of the First Order and would blame himself for every co-pilot, every droid, and every single leader that was lost because he couldn't do it all. We see this partially in The Last Jedi with Poe losing all of the bombers in the assault on the Dreadnought, but we never see or feel any self-blame Poe should have. His decision to force the bombing run and losing all of them should have a great effect on his psyche. Poe, when talking to members of the First Order, shouldn't have any wisecracks whatsoever as he fucking hates them. They're responsible for the deaths of each and every one of his comrades. That doesn't mean cut all the humor out of Star Wars, but make the jokes a little more situational based rather than straight up fucking reject HBO specials. When Poe is first interrogated by Kylo Ren, he should have only disdain and hatred for this man. He's a major fucking reason why he has lost brothers and sisters in this fight. He has seen the brutality of the First Order time and time again, and it should be a major reason as to why he fights on behalf of the Resistance. I would even imagine Poe spitting in the face of Kylo or having some extremely mean words directed towards Ben. After witnessing Kylo Ren massacre an entire village, Poe should be pushed over the limit. When real soldiers witness actual atrocities, most of them go home with some sort of mental problem. Poe doesn't have to be driven completely mad, but he should be a little unhinged, and this could actually lead to him being reckless, like in The Last Jedi. But this time, it wouldn't be just because he is reckless, but because he has so much anger and emotion towards the First Order, it clouds a logical way of thinking. His character arc over The Last Jedi would be him handling these very raw feelings instead of dealing with moronic Holdo, who completely fucked up how hyperspace works. I also would have Poe go along with Rey, which would remove the bullshit where he shows up on Maz Kanata's planet for no fucking reason besides the main character's needs saved. This would also allow some pushback for Rey instead of her learning where the fuck the Resistance hideout is because Finn has a Stormtrooper Woody. If Poe were along, at least my version would be so dedicated to destroying the First Order he would not tell either Finn or Rey the location of their base because he just fucking met them. He would also probably fucking punt BB-8 if the droid tried to reveal the location. This would also allow our heroes some time to form some sort of bond and chemistry which could lead to Poe easing up and telling them. Allowing Poe to go along could also allow him to show off a little bit of an edge he has developed since witnessing those innocents die. Instead of having a pure ideal of the Resistance and believing they need to always be the good guys, he could start to become a little morally gray. If he sees himself as the blame for why they are losing the fight, he would probably start doing some ends justify the means actions while not realizing until later on in his arc that he has started to become the very thing he swore to destroy. There could be some smaller things added, like him holding on to something from back home that can be used to remind him why he continues the fight, or how he would probably treat rebel heroes like Luke Skywalker and Han Solo with disdain for not being involved in the new conflict. Their inaction has led to the deaths of countless amounts of people, but he'd still hold Leia in high regard for staying and leading the resistance. He would be struggling through all these emotions and conflicts within him while also trying to keep the last remnants of the resistance from dying in The Last Jedi. He would finally fully let go of all this anger and pain once the First Order was destroyed in Episode 9, realizing that it doesn't take just one man to win a war. If this sounds like there's a lot going on, that's because there is. You want your characters multifaceted with unique personalities. You don't want someone whose only character trait is wants to set all droids free or been in this since he was 6 years old.
So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first.
Looking at Poe's arc from a bare bones point of view, it's actually pretty good in The Last Jedi, but when you add Holdo, the lack of nuance in the character, and everything else The Last Jedi does with it, it can seem like the arc's a little shit. That's why with some changes, I think this version of Commander Poe Dameron could work very well, and I hope my version presented someone who isn't boring to watch while your imaginary girlfriend rubs your pee-pee at night like me. Thanks for watching. I have some social media on the screen. Leave a like, share, all that stuff. Make sure to subscribe, hit the bell. Farewell.